400 naira to 12,000 naira on the same amount of space. Now, do you want to know what it takes to get to that level? How many want to know, please? Okay, good. I'll be very smart about it to let you know. Now, this is what I've been doing since 1996, 97. So don't worry that the time looks short. But there are books, there are VCDs that you can access. Are you getting me? In the course of the program. Don't panic, you always have access. If you can't get because of the number of people, you can always put your name on a piece of paper and they bring it for you in the church at next service. Is that okay? Because I always reduce price by 1/10 when I'm in a Christian circle. Is that okay? Somebody still paid 20,000 naira for the full pack yesterday. But I'm sure, you're going to buy it for less than maybe 500 naira or about that less. So somebody clap for Jesus for that. Now, because you got it very cheap, don't contempt it. I know what I'm doing with God. He that showeth mercy, he himself will have mercy. Is that not? And it's the mercy of God that brings favor. I expect that you will end up do the same thing in some few years to come. So shall it be in Jesus' name. Amen. Now, I've whetted your appetite. Now, I said Anna went round and we began to simplify information. And we started teaching people 1996, 97. Today, you will say catfish in so many places, isn't it? You'll be wondering, how many snails you see all over the place? You can't. Or any other species of fish. Not at all. Why? Because of the fact that nobody is there to open up after the heart of God like God has used us to do. And my intention is to make sure once you are belly full now, you go out and do the same thing. Is that okay? Now, to prove to you that fish is one of the greatest source of prosperity for mankind. Abraham was a farmer, isn't it? Doing cattle rearing. But unfortunately with Abraham, once a cow, to get 1 kg of meat, a cow will need to eat 20 kilograms of food. That's funny. So his son started doing crop farming. That's arable crop, Isaac. Jacob started preservation. But when Jesus came, Jesus showed us the kind of agric we should focus on. And what was it? When he was choosing people, you remember it was fish people he chose now. Peter and Andrew, is that not? When they were looking for money, it didn't say they should go to the mouth of a goat, isn't it? It said they should go to the mouth of a fish and bring out the cash from there, isn't it? Somebody's impressed. He never finished. When they were doing a service like this, Prosperity Week or so, in the desert or so, you remember they were hungry in the evening. They got carried away by the preaching. And then they were looking for who has food. Town, they far. What did they do? They said, let's look for a young boy. Said he has some piece of bread and some goat meat, have you? No, it was fish all the same too. And when it was multiplied, like we see some multiplication happen here today, what happened? Everybody was fed and they had how many baskets left? Oh my God. Even at that, for deacons and deaconesses, I think Luke 11, when they are finished, Jesus are finished with them using their boats, he didn't tell them to go and buy tractors and launch into the forest to start cultivating maize now. He said, launch out into the deep and do what? Put your net down for fish. Is that not enough sign for you that you should focus on? You know why? Fish is funny because to produce 1 kilo of fish, sir, your fish will just need to eat 1 kilo of food. For poultry, it is 6 kilos of food that your chicken will eat before it give you 1 kg of broiler chicken. For pig, it's about 8 kilos of food your pig will chop before it gives you 1 kg of pork. So common sense tells you what should you focus on. Because food is the greatest, food is the greatest recurring cost when you are doing farming. So if the food is small or less cost, you make more profit, is that not? And I can tell you, fish is the only one you can put 200 on a square meter space, 1 leg by 1 leg. How many pigs if you put there? How many chicken? Maybe about 3 or 4, don't be so. How many cows? So we're in business. So what I'm going to do now is to now focus over the past years now, for the past 15 years or so, I've been able to come up with about 5 business systems for people who are interested in fish farming. So the first one, which is the most secretive, which I don't like to teach people, except Christians per se, though I've taught quite a number of allergies too, mind you, believing that one day they will call. After all, I was a Muslim too up to university, and God in His mercy drew me to Him. I remember I used to make jest of SUs then in the university, not knowing that He don't arrest me already. So there's no discrimination here. Now, I forgot to say something. How many of us come from the village environment? You know you are not original from Lagos. I'm a Lagosian, mind you. My granddad built a house in Lagos in 1926. So how many of us come from the village? Let me see your hands up. Now, there are rivers in your villages. Am I right? Do you know there are some small fishes way there that they don't even eat them, but use them. If you don't get earthworm, you will now use them to bait the other big fish. Do you know there are some people who are exporting those fishes for $1, $2 each? Do you know that? Oh, you open your mouth. And there are about 400 varieties. I told Pastor now, somebody in Cameroon who has a private jet. What he does is to take some fish. Let me see if I have the fish here. I'm sure it's in somebody's village. This particular fish, beam it, that one, they call that fish aposemium. They find it plenty in Yenogua. Yenogua has the largest. Now that fish, the oldest in the world, is 1 year old. Yeah, that fish that you see there. Now 1 year old, the past 1 year, do you know why? The fish will die. They are in small lakes, all those ponds, where then they bail for dry season. You know what I'm talking about? Some of us. Now, those fish will lay eggs in the ponds, and then they start swimming. But once the pond is dry, all the fishes will die. But they put their eggs there, so that when rain falls next year, the eggs will hatch, and they become babies again. Millions of them are born this year now. If you don't catch them to export for $1 each, that's not your own. Because there's somebody in Cameroon who sends young Christians to go, and he's a white man, who sends young Christians to go and capture the thing for him. They're even happy to give him for free. He puts about 1,000 pieces in a box like picnic with oxygen cylinder, and then ships them overseas for how much per box? It sells for $1 per fish. 1,000 in a box. How much is that? $1,000. 40 boxes per week. For 3 months he works and goes on holiday for 9 months. How many of us would like to work like that? You have more time for gospel, isn't it? To now preach easily. Now, these are secrets not told anybody. I'll mention it to you in the course of the program. So let's start with this.